everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Real Bourbon Bros podcast. We have a big guest coming with us tonight, following us tonight, talking to us
I'm here
tonight.
though. I'm
And
here.
Steve's here too, but I'm not going to introduce you
Yeah.
later, Steve. So
Come
I'm Gary.
on.
Steve, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, sorry about that
I'm,
long introduction. We have a
I'm,
special
I'm,
guest.
we do.
Not you.
Yes, we
That's not
do.
you, Steve. You're not the special
Well, we
guest.
both, we're both hosting a special guest tonight.
Yes. And
From one of our favorite
yeah,
distilleries.
I was going to say, I think you've been talking about Bardstown for a long
Oh,
time, and you
yes,
got
I
kind of
have.
me on board. I'm second to the party. You were first to the party, so I'll give you credit there. But Jaz'min Weaver, national brand ambassador for Bardstown Distilling Company. Sorry, with us tonight, joining us for a few minutes, talking about everything Bardstown. So, Jaz'min, welcome in. Thanks
Yay!
for joining us.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me. I love doing podcasts these days. Initially, I was very self-conscious about it, so now that I'm feeling better about it, I love to be on them.
Well, we appreciate you coming along with us for this journey. Obviously, we're talking about our favorite brown liquor whiskey.
Yay!
But before we get there, obviously, Bardstown has a very large inventory and a lot of variety, which we love.
They do. A
We'd
lot of
like to hear,
collaborations, a lot
yeah,
of
and I know
blendings.
Steve will get into
Yeah.
that. He loves talking all that. So,
Woohoo!
but a little personal background, how you came to Bardstown, Jasmine, if you don't mind, and to your current position, and any history in whiskey before. This is the first
Yeah.
time
How
for a
did you
whiskey company.
become to like bourbon?
So, originally, I was not strictly a whiskey girl. I have been a bartender for the past decade before I got this job in Metro Detroit. And really, I was very into gin, very into Amari. Um, but I worked in places that were super craft, micro seasonal. Um, Low waste was my thing, like trying to create a zero waste cocktail menu with the chefs was like that was my bread and butter.
Nice.
Um, but pairing food to beverage and flavor to fragrance. So I helped open one of well, not Detroit's, the nation's first fragrance bar. So it's called Castalia. It's still in Cass Corridor. If you've never been, you should check it out. But a perfumery by day, and then they pair those fragrances with cocktails at night. So really deeply immersed in the food and beverage scene for a long time. And then one night at a bourbon dinner, 5 courses, each course was paired with a different expression of Bardstown, and each expression
Oh.
was used in a cocktail. Turns out that their master blender, Dan Calloway, and their head of marketing, James Lake, were at that dinner, and afterwards they strongly encouraged me to consider working for a distillery. And I applied to Bardstown, and it has just been an absolute daydream ever since then.
Wow. So go
How,
ahead,
how
Steve.
long ago was that?
That was about 2.5 years ago. I got hired in
Wow.
April of
Very-
2023.
Mm.
But yeah,
Oh,
before that, I'd been a bartender for a decade, and before that, I went to U of M as an English major, thinking that I was
Whoa.
woohoo.
going to be next great American novelist.
Oh wow.
Then
Yeah.
it turns out that writing to make money is hard, but slinging drinks to make money was far more lucrative.
And
Wow.
fun.
That too.
Exactly. Well, like Arthur, was it Arthur Miller, right? Is that Arthur Miller? I'm thinking a famous writer from Michigan. Did he go to Michigan?
I don't know if he's from Michigan, but now I feel like I should.
I thought he was. I don't know, but yeah, we're both big Go Blue fans.
Oh,
Yep.
awesome.
Steve has a couple of his offspring
I
that went to U of M, so
I
and
funded U of M for a few years
for the
there.
new football field, for the new scoreboards, right,
Yes.
Steve? You paid for that
Yeah, I
yourself.
was I was in that era, yes. Exactly. Not myself, but I contributed, yes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that's a great background history of how you came to where you are now, and that's awesome. So, I know Steve, you first got me talking about Bardstown, or got me interested in Bardstown. I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago now, I think it
Right.
was. And you were really big on just some of the blending and the collaboration that Bardstown
Yeah,
was coming out with then. Do you remember
exactly.
one of those first bottles that you really got
It
got
it,
got
it could
into?
have been like I mean, back when the Discovery series were coming
Mm.
out, like the 7 and the 9, and I guess now you're up to 12 or something.
So
But
13 drops in
13.
Ooh.
September.
Yeah.
Ooh. Is it?
So
Yeah.
the the blendings, yeah, just outstanding blendings. But of course, the collaborative series as well. But then you have your fusion series, and that I think is a staple.
Thank
So
you so
in
much.
my
So
bar,
first
yes.
of all, Steve, thanks for spreading the good word. Like, thanks for getting
Yeah.
other
Oh,
people into
absolutely.
it. Uh,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
and then second of all, yeah, we do a lot of things I consider really well. Uh, because we've only been around since 2016, we
Mm-hmm.
knew that there was going to be just some time before our own liquid was ready to bottle.
Yep.
And because of that, we got really, really into the blending and the collaborations. We wanted to demonstrate to people that we knew what a good whiskey was going to taste like, whether we were making it ourselves at that time or not. Uh, a lot of the time, I think that, well, not anymore, but I think it used to be that you would think of blending as a little bit of a bad word in whiskey, that you were hiding
Mm.
something. And we wanted to show that this could be like a real masterclass in flavor, that it could be built with purpose, and it's not just novelty for novelty's sake. And I think that's what makes the Discovery series really cool, is that each one is its own personality, but the through line is like big, robust flavors, higher proof points. And then since Discovery 11, we've been able to blend in a little bit of Bardstown, because the youngest thing in the bottle is always at least 6 years old. So coming up on 11, that was the first time we were able
Yeah.
to mix
6, 10,
in.
and 13. Yeah.
And
Very
I,
cool.
then yeah, our Fusion series, people tell me that they loved it so much. That got discontinued when our
right.
Origin series came out. So that was us
Mm.
blending younger Bardstown with older sourced whiskey. And that was just us showing people, like, hey, we are distilling. But once what was 100% ours was coming out, we were like, okay, we got to save those barrels for ourselves. We can't be blending them
Yeah.
anymore. And then the collaborations, those are cool because we love to partner with others in the industry, and all those bottles are handshake deals. Like, we're not signing contracts or exchanging money. It's people from those companies who are as excited to build something with us as we are as excited to build something with them. So I think that that's like a neat aspect of it too, that it's just everyone being like, let's make a flavor and then doing it.
So, just to back up a quick second, the Barca was founded in, was it 14 or 16, or when you started making whiskey in 16?
So we started distilling in September of 2016,
Okay.
but we were an idea breaking ground in 2014.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and now everything, pretty much everything you put out is your own product.
So we're still blending in our discoveries and our
Okay.
collaborations, but part of that is just kind of letting flavor guide the way. Like, we are capable of making a lot of things and a lot of
Yeah.
flavors, but sometimes like you're looking for a specific minerality and like you
Mm.
got to get something from Tennessee to do that.
Yeah.
Or other
That's,
times we're looking for like a specific like oakiness or woodiness, and it's like,
right.
well, nothing that we've got that's 6 to 8 years old is gonna have that same like
Uh,
punch that a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old would have. So then we go out and we find those barrels.
Very nice. So you're so flexible then, and finding what you want to find for the
Yeah.
market. Well, that's very
And I
cool.
love that you use that word. I think that that's one of the most exciting things about working for Bardstown, is that we are very flexible. We're very adaptable.
Hmm.
Uh, our whole thing is being an explorer. So we know what
Mm.
whiskey has been, what is whiskey capable of being, and whether it's through a barrel finish or partnering with a cooperage
Mm.
or using a different grain to distill with or building a glass front rickhouse, we want to play and find
Wow,
out.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's so many things that Bardstown puts out. I mean, it's um and they're all very good whiskeys. Um, I find it sometimes hard to put it down when I mean, a lot of your collaborative series they start at like $200, and so it's like well, I'm not sure if that's the price point of a lot of people, but I mean, I'm willing to pay for a couple bottles here and there. Uh, and it is definitely worth it if you like your whiskey and you got your palate and you know what Bardstown puts out. I do like I mean, the bottles seem to be all pretty much the same. I love the bottle. We have what we call the wow factor when we look at. Uh, we used to have another segment on our podcast here where we gave the bottle, a score as well, right?
Yeah,
It's like the
the
presentation,
aesthetics of it,
the
embossing.
wow
Yeah.
factor, and I do like the way that you have on there, which a lot of your blends are like 4 or 5 deep, right? And they have all the percentages and the mash bill right on the bottle, and it's like, oh my God, this has got to be complex, and very often it
Yeah.
is. But I
Uh,
love that about it. It's very transparent.
Thank you. Well, okay, here you
Yeah.
are using all my talking points. So, uh, as a brand, we have really focused on three things, and any decision that we make, we're asking ourselves, okay, are we being innovative? Are we being collaborative? Are we being transparent? And
Mm,
that's kind of like our guiding light for, is this a good idea for us or isn't it?
Hmm.
And to hear that one of the words you would use to describe us as transparent means that
Yeah.
it's landing, that,
yeah.
we
Oh
want
yeah.
people to know where these flavors are coming from. That's why, we've got the mash bills on the side.
Hmm.
We When we do our collabs, we always put the name and the logo on the bottle so that
Yep.
like it's one thing to say, "Oh, this is a wine finished whiskey." Like it's
Yeah.
another thing to say like this is a California Cabernet from Silver Oak. It rested for 18 months.
Yeah.
And
That's
and I
nice.
think that specificity, like it helps people to trust what you're doing.
Yeah.
And some of them, like actually we had Gary, you might mention this Mizunara. Uh, I think it's a legacy blend that you have, and so when people see that on the label, they know that they've had a good experience with that in the past, and so this is going to be even more better, if they see it right out there in the open, right on the label, right, saying yes, I want the Mizunara blend over
Yeah.
there. I want to try that because I know I like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Mizumar finish is part of our distillery reserve. We
Mm.
launched that just
Distillery
this
Reserve,
year.
yes,
They're in the baby bottles, the 375s, and part of
yes.
that was when we started with the cathedral finish.
Mm.
So French oak sourced from the wood that was used to repair Notre Dame. We were
Yeah.
only able to make 6 barrels, and
Wow. Exclusive.
that was the type of thing where it's like,
Mm.
okay, we know that that's going to be a distillery only release because there's not a lot of liquid, but how do we make sure that the most people get to try it? So we shrank the bottle, and
Yeah.
then with the Mizunara, we also just happened to get 6 barrels. So another tiny batch, I think maybe 3,000-ish bottles of it exist.
Nice.
And then later in the year, we'll be releasing one more. And
Ooh.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about what that finish is,
Oh,
but
It's
come
you
it's
can just
on.
gonna
tell
be a
You're
good one.
you can
you're
just tell us what
you're
day
the
it's released
brand
on.
Yeah, right.
you're the brand
Uh,
ambassador,
we
everything.
we have learned from that first cathedral drop though, because we just put a little bit out and then we were dropping it sporadically. And so
Oh.
we were having people show up to the distillery basically furious, like I drove all the way here to get this thing and you're
Yeah.
telling me you don't know when it's going to be out again. So now we've been putting things out every Wednesday. Like every time that there's
Right.
a uh, distillery reserve drop, it's going to be Wednesday morning. And I think that makes it a little easier for people to get their
It
hands on it.
does.
Yes. Especially if you don't have to work.
Yeah.
You get to plan your vacation
There you go. There you
around
go.
that
All
drop.
Wednesdays in
Yeah.
the fall, I have reserved off, Steve. Just FYI.
Exactly. And then, like, speaking of putting out a lot of bottles, so we do get some single barrels that only the distillery has, but we
Mm-hmm.
also get some single barrels that only the downtown tasting room in Louisville have.
Mm.
Um, and then there's everything else that comes out. So we've tried to slow down a little bit with our collaborations. I think before we were coming out with a couple a year, and now I think it's just once a year, kind of close to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So when the most
Coming up.
people are coming to town, but I think also in September we are gonna have a Ferran cognac finish drop,
Mm.
and that's exciting. I got to try it a couple of weeks ago at our Reserve launch. So we have a whiskey club now. It's called the
Yeah,
Reserve.
that was a question on my list.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we put that together to kind of help people get some of those harder to find
Yeah.
bottles. So this first year of the Reserve, you get all three of the uh, Distillery Reserve releases, so the
Mm.
375s. Then you get Discovery 13, the Ferran finish,
Wow.
and the first time Bardstown has ever released an 8.5-year-old.
And that I think, and that's I checked today. It's full for the 2025. It is full.
Reserve.
Yeah,
Ah,
it
shucks.
just filled up. Um,
So it's a one-time fee for the year, and then you
I'm gonna
get
spend my
access to
bonus check on that. Dang
yeah.
it.
all those bottles. So you'll be doing the same for 2026, I assume, having the same.
So there will definitely be the reserve, but I think that because this is the first year, I
Hmm.
can't guarantee that it's going to be the exact same format. I think we're
Yeah.
learning as we go what
Right.
people want. There were a lot of people that were disappointed that we couldn't ship, but
I
part of
saw
that
that.
is control states. Like
Yeah.
you can't send anything to Michigan that Michigan hasn't already cleared. So
Aw.
Yep.
there's all that type of red tape that we had to think through. Like, all right, how do we get these bottles into people's hands and
Yeah.
follow all the laws?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want your license taken away from you. That's for sure. Well,
Speaking of distillery only bottles, sorry, Gary.
oh, go ahead.
And we and
Excuse me.
I'm not sure if Gary let you know that we were there in Bardstown just last week.
Yep.
And there was one there at the distillery. It's a teal colored labels. I think it was only a distillery there. It was a small batch.
Yes.
What was that one?
So that's our small batch stave finish.
Staves to
It's
finish, yeah.
finished with a couple of staves that are cut and toasted in a way where we were hoping to mimic like a s'mores flavor on the palate. So to get some chocolate notes, to get something a little marshmallowy, something a little bready or graham crackery. And it's a lighter proof point, so I think 94 proof. I feel confident that it's 94 proof, but I think just a really great like little sipper.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I passed on that because I did remember the proof point, and I'm like, oh, only under 100 proof. Gary and I are both cast strength guys, and maybe that swayed me to, maybe not putting it in the cart, but now I wish I would have, um, because
Un-
I need, I mean, I have like over 10, 12 bottles already up from Bardstown, so I'm like, I think I gotta
You
Well,
gotta
hold
make
off a
when's
that one
little
up.
bit, but
when's the next time you're coming back?
well, to tell you the truth, I would have been down there today. I have a group of um, guys that I go down there with for a barrel picks are down there in Bardstown today doing a barrel pick.
Were they
At bar.
from
Uh,
Novi?
Novi Party
Yes.
Store.
I sat in on that barrel pick today.
No way! Oh,
Oh, Steve, you missed out.
shoot! Oh my gosh! Yeah, so Calvin,
They asked you like
he's the
three
ring. He
times.
was a ringleader. Yeah, he kept on asking me, and are you sure? I go, well, I'm going to be there with my brother the week
I know the week
before,
before.
and that means I got to stay an extra 3 nights down there by
Aw.
myself, and then I got to go back. I'm like, you know, I had a pass that
Excuses.
I was,
Excuses.
I know it was
Excuses.
excuses, but
Oh my gosh.
I got to make a living. But yeah, Jazz, I would have been there today, and I would have been doing this tonight with you.
And I would have been here.
Maybe there in person. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's like, oh, dang.
it's a
Did
small world after all.
did they
No,
did they pick a banger? That's what I got to
I
ask.
absolutely did. What happened was I looked on the single barrel schedule and I was like, oh, these people are from Michigan. I'm gonna go say
Nice.
hi.
Yay! Yes,
We ended up doing it
awesome.
in the Vintage Library, which is not a place that we normally do a single barrel pick. So
Oh,
I'm sorry to rub that in for you.
I'm gonna tell Calvin a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what happened there because I wanna, go
Get
back
some
and
dirt on
tell
them.
him, hey, I was a fly on the wall there. No.
Yeah.
So they picked one, huh? That's good.
Yeah, I think if you want to joke with Calvin, you would have been like, I don't know, man, I would have gone for B.
Yes.
It's always B. It's always B.
There there was a moment where the room was divided. They were like, are we picking B or are we picking
Yeah.
C?
And
And
he
they went
picked.
back and forth for kind of a while.
And now they did C. Okay. I'm
So
gonna
now
let
you
them
know.
know. I said, yeah, I've got friends in the industry. I'm gonna,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have contacts, Steve, right?
yeah.
We
Well,
know
thanks,
people.
Jazz. That's a little bit of inside knowledge that
Yeah.
I didn't know you were there, but that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
I am so rarely at the distillery, so it was kind of like a weird little one-off day. I'm on the road 200 plus days out of the
Oh,
year.
wow.
I travel and
Wow.
educate. My main thing is sensory experiences, so
Hmm.
teaching people how to smell what they taste what they smell,
Yeah.
put a vocabulary to it. Um, this week, however, I'm in Louisville because it's Bourbon Women. It's their
Mm.
symposium. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
cool.
do a chocolate and mouthfeel with whiskey experience. I think that people love to pair chocolate and whiskey together, but they
Yes.
never think about the why of it.
Yeah.
So for me,
Oh,
cacao mimics the darker notes that you're getting from
Mm-hmm.
your oak and your tannin. So like higher cacao content is
Yep.
goes well with like the like
the
longer
dark.
aged,
Yep.
Yeah.
but also your fat content. So white chocolate, milk chocolate, that fattiness cuts through proof. So if you're drinking something hazmat, you can cut through that initial burn and start tasting some of the softer like flavors that are underneath that. So I like to use chocolate as a tasting tool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It almost brings it full circle because I came back Saturday and I had scheduled some of my buddies down here to come over for a whiskey tasting. I came back the same day and then went right into it. And I had I had the different types of chocolate. I had the white chocolate, the dark chocolate,
Oh,
no milk
awesome.
chocolate. So I've been doing this in whiskey tastings for a while now. And I remember doing my research. And so speaking to your point, like, and everybody's like, oh, this chocolate goes so well. And I'm like, yeah, I might know something a little bit here, but
Chocolate goes
yeah.
well with a lot of things. I
Oh, but
love
the
the
whiskey
dark
they were saying, they're like, oh,
cacao
I can
chocolate.
taste
Yeah.
these notes so much better after I did it. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah,
good.
totally. That's awesome.
Yeah, we like putting on some tastings once in a while, right, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. And um, speaking of, well, two things. One, I love to be taking some of those courses. I think
Yeah,
Gary and I probably have to do a little bit more of that. In person is great. They have these blending experiences and
yeah,
so forth. I think it's always good to do those sorts of things to know what goes in, as far as the blending, and then of course you can't finish it because then you have to wait, 12 months. But that's a really good sensory class I'd love to sign up for. And number two, uh, you mentioned Women in Bourbon. Gary got a bottle this past week of a woman in bourbon.
oh, Mary Dowling, that one.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, first
Have you,
woman. Yeah, first woman of bourbon, right? Yes, yes. I have the
yeah, have
book.
you cracked it?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, yes. So we did crack it at the whiskey tasting I had last weekend. I think it's double oak, cast strength, toasted finish.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's a
Oh,
lot going on
I
there.
was just gonna say a lot of nuances happening.
wow.
Yeah, I don't. It was towards the end of the night, so forgive me if I don't remember all the notes.
No, no worries.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah,
But
it
you
was
did
definitely.
crack it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was definitely a keeper. Do I still have it somewhere? Did I put it up? Yeah, I must have put it up somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So yeah, women in bourbon. Yeah, I know it's not Bardstown, but uh, it's weeded
Well,
too.
I
Yeah,
But
107
hey,
proof. But
had
yeah,
had to
very.
had to put the two together there. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
very
no,
good bottle.
we celebrate whiskey as a category. Even if you come to the distillery, well, which you guys have, you'll see we
Yes.
serve products that aren't just
We.
our own on the back bar.
Yep.
And the
Yeah.
vintage library
Nice.
is a celebration of the
Yeah.
category as a whole. And
We appreciate that.
yeah, we, I mean, we love whiskey, and
Yeah.
whiskey's made in Bardstown.
Yeah. So you're on the right
That's
podcast.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Bardstown, the bourbon capital of the world, as we know it.
Yes.
A little more on the distillery that you brought up there. We've been there twice now in I don't know if it's the distillery. I guess you should say. I guess you just call
Restaurant,
it
tasting
yeah
room,
what's
Yeah,
the word I'm looking.
you could call it a
the
campus
grounds.
almost,
Yes,
frankly.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a couple good meals there the last few years. The food was delicious. I really
Yes.
like all the different pours. You had the gift shop with the bottles of Bardstown right there. So that came up. When was that built? And approximately a little history on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so we broke ground in 2014.
Okay.
I think we we're closer to what we look like now in 2018 because that's when the restaurant happened. That's when um, we started expanding out, like lots of a couple of expansions.
Mm,
But right now we have our original 100 acres with 14 rick houses.
mm,
The restaurant, which I'm biased and think is one of the best restaurants in the city of Bardstown. We've got three 40-foot column stills at this point.
mm.
But then, not too long ago, we bought 300 acres behind ourselves and we built five more rick houses. And fun fact about us is that from the time that we broke ground until today, we've actually never stopped building. Like the same construction company has just been
Every
making
2
it
years.
Keeping
larger
them
and
in
larger.
business. Yeah.
So we started with a single cooker, a single still, eight fermenters. 6 months later,
Wow.
decided to make the distillery a little bigger, and then, yeah, always expanding. So
Nice.
putting in an outdoor bar, putting in a pergola,
Yeah.
and then yeah, just last year, essentially building a second. Was it last year? Time flies. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
But
2025.
putting in a second distillery behind ourselves, so with a third column still, because we started off with the two. Um, and just making it so that we can keep producing for
Mm,
ourselves to kind of meet the demands as we're spreading to states, hoping to get to all 50, and also to continue honoring our custom contract distilling partners. So
mm.
we custom contract distill for others. A lot of the
Mm.
time, even if you've never drank Bardstown, you probably had something we've made,
Yep.
Right.
like Hirsch or Blue Run.
Yep.
Um,
Both.
and
Exactly. Well, we knew they were from Bardstown. Yes.
yeah, and so that was kind of, I'm trying to think the best way to talk about it. So when we were founded, we were the first custom contract distillery capable of controlling 500 different points of distillation. So yes, there were other people who made multiple recipes, but those were 2 to 5 recipes. Like right now
Right.
we make 50 recipes
Very
for
Mm.
custom.
30 different partners. Like it's a level of sophistication in distilling that had
Customization.
not been seen before.
Yeah.
And even people who are custom contract distilling on that level at this point, it's still essentially our model. It's not like there's brand new technology. It's like the same ignition system that we're using.
Mm. Very cool.
Great.
Uh, I was gonna ask, you know, obviously the industry of bourbon, I mean, took off like a rocket, I don't know, what, 10, 15 years ago. And some say it's kind of plateauing a little bit, maybe in the last year or so. Obviously you at Bardstown are not feeling the effects of that plateau. Do you see any signs of that in the industry? It sounds with Bardstown, like I said earlier, you guys are still, sounds like you're still going off like a rocket here.
So we are, I mean, I feel like everyone around the whiskey industry is feeling some like tightening of the purse
Yeah.
strings, or I think part of it is that everyone's like, oh no, like there's this giant dip, when really there's just not this explosive expansion.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Wow.
actually pretty
Pretty
steady.
steady. Yeah.
Like, just because it's not growing at the same rate that it had before, like,
That's
demand
good.
is still huge. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like there are a few things that no matter what is going on, like, it's gonna be a universal truth. Like, people are gonna want to eat and they're gonna want to drink. And that's
Hmm.
that's what
Not in
we're
that
witnessing.
order. Yeah.
Invest in those stocks. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I asked Jazz for some stock tips here, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a steady rate. That's what
steady
it
rate
is.
decline. So I know earlier I talked about those distillery exclusives, reserve bottles. Then I was able to try the one Mizunara Japanese oak. Um, Steve, do you have some favorites? I know you said the Amaroot Collaborative was one of your
Well, yeah.
favorites that you wanted
Well,
to ask
it
specifically Jazz about.
was.
It
That's
was.
one. Well,
Ooh, past
that was
tense.
one of the questions I was going to ask about.
Okay.
So I have a few collaborative, but there's a lot of them out there,
Yes.
and I'm just asking for somebody that's probably tried them all. And keep in mind that I'm favoring cast strength, complex, not overly gimmicky sort of blends, but which one would fit my profile?
Hmm, good question.
So, I guess if you were a rum drinker, I would say the Foursquare.
I got Foursquare.
Oh, well,
So,
You
A
might find out
man
he has a
after
bunch of
my own
these.
heart.
Okay. Yes. I
Um,
got the Foursquare.
I hmm. Okay, let's think about
Higher
this.
proof, maybe.
I think that all of the Chateau de la Baudes that we made, that there were two. I think that those were delicious expressions. Um, Man, I'm trying to. Sometimes it's so hard to think back because some of these bottles existed before I was with the company.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, what was the mash bill on that first
Yeah,
like
no, we're not going to ask you
non-collab that
that.
you
I told
guys
her no mash
like?"
bill
No,
questions.
no, 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 absolutely not. No.
But I'm also a sucker for some of our red wine finishes. Like the
Yeah.
Silver Oak, I think is really delicious. It was
Heard of that one.
if you ever see it out in the wild, the Carter Cellars was an
Yes.
absolute banger of a bottle.
He's looking at it
Okay.
Um,
now. You love old Carter whiskey too, so.
yeah, one of my
Okay.
favorite bottles was the Doisy Dane collaboration,
Uh,
and I think that people thought it was going to be weird because it was like Sauterne wine, so you thought it was going to be sweet, and it smells like very grapey, but like it's just a chef's kiss of a
Okay.
bottle.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, Steve, have you had tried the Goose Island?
I I've seen that collaborative
Okay.
one, but I have never
So
tried it. Any of the like the stouts, the Goose
Yeah.
Islands.
'Cause I know you're a
I
big beer
think
guy too, so
there was
that'd be
another one. It's not Goose Island.
probably
KBI or
Founders.
Founders. Yes. Well, here
uh
in Michigan, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
yeah.
Um, that's I'm not sure if I have Founders. Maybe I do.
Oh
I
boy.
do not have Goose Island though. But I mean,
So I found Founders to be almost a little sweeter, and then the Goose Island was like malty, a little bit of honey, but like a lot of like dark chocolate coffee notes for me.
Mm,
Um, I love the Goose Island as an example when I'm teaching classes because I think it's such a wonderful demonstration of a barrel finish. Like the three
mm.
things that went into that bottle were a 6 year, a 7 year, and a 9 year Kentucky bourbon. But what you end up tasting and smelling is so transformed by that time spent in those beer bourbon barrels.
yeah. And so that's finished. It's what finished for 10 to 12 months maybe in the beer
Yeah, it was
barrels. That's
a
what.
12-month finish in Bourbon County stout barrels sent to us from Goose Island. And then the cool thing about it, so a way that Bardstown's very unique when it comes to our barrel finishing is most of the time when you finish a barrel, you dump whatever liquid was in there first, you rinse it, you ship it out whenever. We ask for them to keep the barrels as wet as possible, so sometimes leaving like half-gallon to a gallon of the liquid in there, and then we pump it with argon gas, so we're displacing all the oxygen, we're preventing anything from like turning to vinegar or oxidizing, we're saran wrapping it, and then getting it in a refrigerated truck. So those barrels got dumped in Chicago in the morning. They were being filled that same night in Kentucky. And I think it's very apparent in the flavor profile that, like, yes, there was beer here.
That is so cool. I mean, I mean, a lot of times when you have tasting notes and all that, and people were asking me like, "Well, do they put cherries in there?" It's like, no, no, they really don't put cherries in the
Right.
bourbon, right? But in this case, it's sort of true where you have some of those flavors actually left over from the finished uh, barrel, right, product, beforehand. So I think that's really cool. Um, Next
I
time, just
wonder,
slip a chocolate bar in there once.
you know what? Have you had our West Virginia Great Barrel Company collab?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that is a tan label bottle, and I think
Uh,
that based on what you've told me about your palate, you're gonna really enjoy that bottle. So, from our collaborative
all
series,
right.
we partnered with the West Virginia Great Barrel Company. They are one of the most technologically advanced cooperages that exists right now, and we know that we get so much flavor from the wood, so we were like, okay, we're gonna go straight to the source. We're gonna have them custom build these barrels, and then they pioneered an infrared toasting technology for us. So we're the only ones who get to use these barrels. But we played around with a bunch of different wood like flavor profiles and ultimately settled on two staves cherry for every one stave oak. So We're using the
Oh,
oak for its structural integrity. We're using
yeah.
the cherry because it does give you some of those cherry notes, and then we're toasting it because you're getting more penetration into the stave, so we're cooking out those wood sugars without burning any of it off. So that was the first time that we ever played with the infrared toast, and we loved the way that that collaboration tasted so much that when our 95.5 rye came out for our Origin series, we decided to do a 6 month finish on our everyday rye. But that West Virginia collab, that was the first time that had ever been done. It was a I want to say a 6 or 7 year Indiana rye and then a 12-year Ontario corn whiskey. And then it rested for 10 weeks in the barrels the first time.
Okay.
So it's a little spicier and bolder than our everyday origins. But yeah, based on what you've told me, I think you're gonna like that bottle.
Okay. I'm putting
Yeah.
that on my list.
Yeah,
On
that's
my
on the hunt
Christmas.
list
On
now.
my Christmas list.
All right. I'll have to remember that one.
West Virginia, Great Barrel Company.
I'd like to transition really quickly. I know we're over, 35 minutes, so thank you so much, Jazz,
Yeah,
for your
no
time
worries.
here.
Yes, thank you so much.
Back to the discovery a little bit. Like I said, I really enjoyed the 10 and 11. I have the 11 here. The 12 I know is probably sold out. You said the 13 is coming later this year. Is that correct? Or it's out
Yeah, it
now?
should drop right about Bourbon Heritage Month, so
Okay.
right before or in the very beginning of September.
And can you tell us anything about that bottle?
Yeah, so it
Okay.
is 4 Kentucky bourbons. Am I lying?
We
I'm
wouldn't
not
know.
lying. So no, 4 Kentucky bourbons. But the cool thing is that it gets a secondary finish in Hungarian oak. And this is the
Okay.
first time that we have ever done a Hungarian oak finish.
Okay.
And it's an interesting wood. It's a little spicier
Ooh.
than American oak or French oak. It's super aromatic, but also like it's slow growing, so tighter grain, and then that means that it's kind of like more subtle and nuanced. Like it's not like big, like crazy flavors. So it's a really great pour. I got to try it for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. And the
That's going to be
proof?
a bourbon in proof.
It's so I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the proof and I should
Okay.
know it by heart,
No
unfortunately.
worries.
But four different four different bourbons and I want to say an 8 year, 2 9 years, and a 15 year.
Ooh, I like.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will definitely be a bourbon then. Okay.
And then pretty sure that all of them are coming from Kentucky. So kind of a
Nice.
throwback to what we were doing originally. Like the first few discoveries that came out, we were only sourcing from what was nearby. And
Mhm.
then as we added more numbers to the list, we started expanding out more and going to Tennessee and Georgia and Ontario.
Interesting. Yeah. It's-
Even the label, like I know that since what series 10, you guys changed the label on it, so
Yes.
you're
We
confusing
did
people.
that for the collectors,
Yeah.
frankly. I think
Ah,
Yeah.
Discovery 1 and 2 had like a forest green label, and then 3 through 9 were burgundy. But they just said like Discovery on the front, and then on the side told you which number it was. So if
Right.
you were a collector, you just had a block of burgundy bottles. So
Exactly. That's what I had. I have to
we
look at. Oh, number 9.
Yeah,
yeah.
so we switched it up. We started doing the white labels, and then each new expression gets its own like foil color. So Discovery 10 was red, Discovery 11 was purple, Discovery 12 was orange, and Discovery 13 is iridescent.
Ooh, cool. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. But later
Yeah.
Yeah.
this fall, then. Okay. Or next. Okay.
Keep on
All
going up
right.
in proof, I think. I think
Yeah. 118 was maybe the
11
last
was
one.
118, and then
Yeah.
114 for 10, 118 for 11,
I
Yes,
think
we
we've
like
been
that.
bouncing
115.
around.
I
Nice.
like
Um,
it.
yeah, you
I
did say that you were
Yeah,
a proof
cast
hound.
strength guys. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
I think that this one is 110.
okay. All right. Let's step back.
Maybe
Yeah.
one, it's 110
Respectable.
point something
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Respectable.
Very
Yeah,
good.
let's say it'll do.
For those just
All
joining
right.
us, we're talking to Jaz'min Weaver, National Brand Ambassador for Bardstown, from the capital of Bourbon, Bardstown, Kentucky. So a few more minutes. Steve, unless you have any other in-depth questions on a
No,
couple quick hitters.
I think
Yeah,
no in
we're at
depth.
40 minutes.
We could talk
Yeah.
here all night, but
I
yeah,
know, I
let's.
know.
Because our listeners are going to fast forward if we don't make this more interesting here. So.
I think they'll be fine. A lot of cool knowledge being dropped tonight. So, I always start with the quick hitter is what was your first legal whiskey drink?
You know, I feel like it was a Manhattan, and
Oh,
I have
okay.
remained true to the Manhattan ever since.
Oh,
That's
nice.
my go-to when
Solid.
I'm going places. If there's a Manhattan on the menu or a Manhattan riff, like I'm all about it. And I think that Carpano Antica is one of the best vermouths.
I was going to say,
I will take it
Yeah.
over Dolan any day.
get the
You know,
vermouth.
you would know,
Yeah,
you would know. Yeah.
nice.
Another question would be between all the different types of whiskey there are and that you've sampled with your experience, working in bars and now at bars, do you have a favorite type of whiskey? Rye, Scotch,
Oh,
Irish whiskey,
absolutely. So
Japanese
I am
whiskey,
a weeded girl through and through. I have always
weeded.
loved a weeder. I don't necessarily love like Canadian whiskey or Irish whiskey, but
Hmm.
a wheat every single time. I have always absolutely loved a weeder. And people are always like, "Oh, if you're not drinking Bardstown, what are you drinking?" It's like
Yeah,
guaranteed some type of wheat. Like it could be
yeah,
Yeah,
like frequently Rebel, only
yeah,
because of the price
yeah.
point and it's
Rebel
super
10. Yeah,
mixable.
yeah.
very good
And we
weeded.
love, yeah, we love Lux
But
there too.
that said, those occasions are rare because we have two really incredible wheats in our portfolio. Like the wheated bottled and bond is hands down my favorite thing out of the
Hmm.
Origin series. And then we have the high wheat, high proof. So 106
I,
proof,
yeah, I was
39%
gonna say
wheat
you
in
like
the
it.
mash bill.
It's not called a double wheat, is it? Or no, it's a weeded bottle and bond. That's 100%.
Well, that's
That's
my
your.
My favorite friend,
Yeah,
right here, my best friend.
um yeah, as you can see, I'm working my way through this
There you go.
one.
And that was
Uh,
full at the start of the podcast, by the way.
right. Uh, yeah, this mash bill is Steve Nally's baby. So
Yeah.
33
Master,
years at Maker's Mark
yeah.
and
And master
then
distiller, correct?
master distiller
Yep.
at Bardstown now.
yeah.
Mhm.
And everyone calls him the Wheat King of Kentucky. And he was really excited about 68% corn, 20% wheat,
Nice.
12% malted barley.
Well, he knows his stuff, so
Nice.
you gotta believe him, right? What was the last bottle of whiskey that you bought?
The last bottle of whiskey that I bought, I'm gonna be honest, the last thing that I bought wasn't whiskey. It was Heyman's Old Tom Gin.
Oh, okay.
Gin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for gin. I make my own tonics, so
Ah,
I think Heyman's is super mixable. Anytime something has too much juniper, I don't love it.
yeah.
Um, I don't love Hendrix for mixing because that's inherently cucumber and rose. So
Uh,
anytime somebody is like, "Make me a Hendrix martini,"
Hendrix.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's weird. Like
yeah.
you want olives and roses and cucumbers."
Mm.
My wife's the gin
Fruity.
drinker of the family, and she likes Fords, and I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
Is that okay? I don't know. Should I tell her from the
Yeah. No,
expert here?
I'll allow it.
That's decent. That's doable. Okay. All right. I'll let her know.
Man, I am trying to think what is the last bottle of whiskey that I bought.
You get so many fringe benefits, I'm sure that it's it's probably been a
Well,
while.
you know what? The last bottle of whiskey that I bought was actually Bardstown,
Oh wow.
but it was something that I had not had before. So it was the Destillaire
Hmm.
collaboration, which is something that I think they did in the first year that they were opened. So I was shocked that I found this bottle
Hmm.
on a like dusty bottle on a shelf in Colorado, and they're like, "Yeah,
Wow.
I just can't move it." And I was like, "That's because nobody knows what this is." So
Yeah, exactly.
I
Hmm.
bought
Some
that because I was
a
like, "Oh
wi-
my gosh, like I'll never find this again."
Very cool.
Get the
Yeah,
dust
sometimes you
off.
find those old stores, you just find some or those local hole in the walls that nobody knows about locally, but well, somebody that comes from out of
Absolutely.
town, they know it's there. So,
Yeah.
Steve, you have a quick hitter?
I have a maybe a long question, but
Was it?
I'm game.
well, we like to appeal to
Oh, yes,
the
yes.
curious, um,
Novice yet
but
curious.
novice but curious whiskey
Whiskey.
enthusiast.
Yes,
That's our
one of our
motto there.
sayings. Yeah.
And so we like to get people's that are in the industry that have great knowledge, have been around a lot of people drinking whiskey and bourbon, kind of advice on people getting into this the culture of bourbon, not just like heavy collectors, but tipping their toe into what makes a great bourbon, what kind of taste profiles should I go after, how can I start? Do you have any advice for those people?
Yeah, so a few things. I always recommend trying neat before you add your ice or anything else. A lot of the time, you can't know if you really, really like something if you're instantly diluting it.
Yep.
Um, my other my other recommendation is, try everything. Just because you had a scotch once or a wheated once or a rye once and you didn't love it, there are so many different flavor profiles out there. And I think
Hmm.
Bardstown is a great example of that. Like every new thing that we put out is its own flavor. So just give everything a chance multiple times.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I really recommend is do little sensory trainings with yourself. And you don't need like the expensive whiskey smell kits. You don't even need to go to classes. If you have a kitchen, then you have a spice cabinet, and there are 1,000 things in there that are also found in those whiskey noses and palates. So, like, just smelling cinnamon by itself next to your pour, or nutmeg, or allspice, but also like herbs as well. Like, smell your thyme, smell your rosemary. Practice makes permanent, and I think people are so used to smelling things in combination. Like you think you know what brown sugar smells like, but no, you know what it smells like in a dessert or
Hmm.
in a coffee or whatever. So like learn it on its own, and then you're so much faster at picking it out later. Those are my main three.
Or eat a lot of Red Hots or Lucky Charms, and that way
That too.
That's probably some of the best advice that
I know.
we've asked so many
Yeah.
guests that we've had on our podcast that question, and that's probably the most unique
Yeah, we never
perspective
had that
that
answer before.
perspective
Yeah.
because of your background, and that's great. So
Thank
Sensory
you.
I think it's gonna be
training.
very helpful for our listeners and us as well. So make sure
I'm going
Cool.
to take her advice. Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna go through the cabinet right now, the spices.
And now I'm gonna do a shameless plug.
Oh, go ahead.
Uh,
Yay.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am jazz.distilled, Jaz period distilled. Like I said, I'm on the road probably 200 plus days out of the year. My schedule is built by invitation. So my state managers or whiskey clubs or whoever are saying, hey, we'd love to have you come out. So I am not as at the distillery as much as I'd like to be, but if you want to see like where I'm at, what I'm doing, that's a great way to follow. And if you do want to see what's going on at the distillery, then I would recommend following Danny Bardstown, uh, our master blender, our VP of new product development. Dan is always in the rick houses blending. He's always showing people what he's working on. So it's a cool behind the scenes look at what happens. And then of course like the regular Bardstown Instagram. But I'm saying like if you want to get the behind the scenes, the on the
Yes.
road, and then the in the
Yeah.
rick houses, I think that following Dan and I is the path.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'll definitely link both of you and everything we post for the podcast, for
Yeah.
this
Cool.
chat. And I just want to thank you again, Jazz, for all your time tonight.
Yes.
We were humbled by how much we learned. I think, well, speaking for me, I think Steve would say the same
Always
thing. So
learning
much.
everything.
Yeah, and
Learning
that's
every
that's what's
day.
great about the whiskey journey. The more people we talk to, the more insight we get, different perspectives, and that helps us and also our listeners with their experience down the whiskey journey. So,
Yeah.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
No, that's
Anything else?
heartwarming. I'm
Yeah.
also an eternal student. I'm always learning, and I'm incredibly flattered, humbled, grateful to be invited on podcasts like this and just get to talk to you guys about bottles I really love. Um, I don't think that I could work for a distillery if I didn't 100% believe in what they were doing, and
Perfect.
Bardstown has
It's
my
hard
heart.
not to, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Especially with
Uh,
Bardstown.
and last thing from me, what's in the near future then for you? Traveling to certain cities, people can look out for you in the next month or so. Anything on the
Ooh,
horizon
okay,
there?
what am I doing? I'll
It's
be
okay.
I'll be in Arkansas soon, but I don't know where or what.
Okay.
I think
All right.
around Little
Okay.
Rock maybe.
Okay.
Um, at the very end of this month, I'll be in Houston, Texas,
Okay.
and I'll have a little itinerary for those events soon.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
then early September, the Kentucky Bourbon Fest.
Yeah.
I will be down at the booth and I'll be at our distillery after party. Uh, so if you're in Kentucky, like,
Nice.
come looking for me.
Nice. We got to get to one of these years, Steve. Maybe next year we can
Yeah.
coordinate our schedules.
Some of
So
these Bourbon Fests are, I heard, are a really good smashing party. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not only just in Kentucky, but the other states. I mean, we have several of them in Detroit, but they're like, just a Friday night Bourbon Festival, like in Royal
yeah,
Oak or down in
this
the
is the
Eastern
real deal.
Market.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
down in Kentucky, that's
that's bourbon
the
country.
mothership there.
Yeah.
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 I would say going to like one of the food and wines, like the Charleston Food and Wine is a
Hmm.
great one for tasting, and Whiskey X's or Whiskey Riots, those are always great.
Perfect. Well, let us know if you ever come to Michigan or Florida. You got our contact
Yeah.
information. We're always around. But that's it for me, Jazz. Again, thank you so much for your time tonight. Appreciate
Yeah.
every minute of it. And then we'll hopefully we'll keep following you on Instagram. Danny Bardstown on Bardstown on Instagram. We'll keep following you guys. But thanks again, and appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jess.
No, thank you. You
You're
guys were a
great.
delight.
Oh,
All right. Well,
super.
thank you. Have a great night.
All right. Bye.
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 Enjoy.